Hello, Highradians. Today I'm going to show you the pre-release demo of my Highradius dashboard. Now, let's open it without any delay. So, just a moment. Okay, so you must be seeing the dashboard as of now. Let me start from a top to bottom approach for the dashboard. Here is the logo of the company who would be viewing their dashboard, and this is the company logo for Highradius, and this is a badge which indicates that this dashboard is in a beta stage right now. Also, I've said before that this is a pre-release video. I would be making a video which would be a release video, and there might be some changes in the UI itself, not in the functionality basis. This is a pre-release video, and all the functionalities are finalized as of now. No more changes would be done. So, as you can see, some of the buttons here are disabled and they are blurred out. This must be very astonishing for you that how I have done this. So I have done this with a custom CSS library, and what it does, it has React has something called a state. So when that state is altered, no, this button checks if that state is in disabled or enabled state. So as per this state gets to disabled, it gets blurred out and disabled state. Also, if I hover over it, my mouse changes from a pointer of cursor to disabled cursor. See the changes, right? And advanced search analytics add button, these are enabled by default. You may refer to the PRS document, which I would be attaching in the document below. Now, this is the main part of the UI or the front end. And this is the table which contains the data from the database. Uh, I have built a servlet using Java to fetch these data. Now, if you scroll down a bit, this is the footer. Nothing special about it. Just as normal web apps do. This is just normal footer. Also, this is the pagination part where we can either go to the start of the table, start of the data in the database, or scroll by one page up or down with the previous or the next button. The last button goes to the very last row in the database. Now, if you click on last, see here a notification shall pop up notifying me that I have reached the end of the data set. I clicked on the last button and read here. This is the notification which alerts me that I have gone to the end of it. Now, see the logic. What I have done is if I have visited the last in the data set, the next button should be disabled, just as it should be. Because if there is no data for the next things to come up, the next button should be disabled. Also for the last button. Now, similarly, in the similar fashion, start button and the previous button gets enabled. So if I click on previous, it gets me the previous to previous rows, and the data fetching goes as usual. You may understand from the demo itself, which I'm showing you right now. If I click on previous, it keeps on going to the previous rows, and now at this moment, if I click on start, it would take me to the very first row in the database. See here. By default, I am fetching for 30 rows, and in the release production, in the release set, there would be another feature here added that would let user to fetch 30 rows or 50 rows at a time. Like if I click on next, it would fetch me either the 30 rows or 50 rows or maybe 100 rows. It is customizable at later point. Ignore that for now. Also, there is this full screen button that would toggle the browser to full screen or to exit the full screen. For the time being, I am keeping myself in full screen mode. It keeps you less distracted. Also, it looks nicer, right? Now, let's click on the add button first. If I will fill some random data. Just do not care about this for now. This is the date picker, that I can choose any date without any hassle. Also, I can type manually dates like these, right? Now, if I click on this check button, this submit button gets enabled because this is an acknowledgement type of thing which tells ki, yeah, I know what I'm doing and all these data fields are filled up. Now, when I click on submit button, it checks whether all the required fields, how we know whether a field is required or not with this red star. So it checks whether all the required fields are having data or not. It also does many complex validations like whether the date is in correct format or not. Because if you type manually date here now, it might give issues in the front end code in the React part. So now if I click on submit, it will notify me again that the data has been added. Also, I can confirm for the same. If I copy the invoice ID or any other field from here, I would like to copy invoice ID, right? And then if I click on submit, it says me that the data has been submitted. Now, when the data has been submitted, it should be added to the last of the table, right? Now, I shall go to the very last of it and see. Here is the row added. See, 83457, which is the invoice ID. So my add functionality is presented beautifully, I guess so. Now, see, I can either select one row at a time or select all of the rows at a time. It is toggleable. If I click on it, it selects all the rows at once, or if I again toggle it, it deselects. And this goes on. Now see how beautifully the buttons are getting disabled or enabled. Their states toggle. Also see how the blurring goes away. See very carefully. It looks so beautiful to the eye and pleasing in my mind that this logic, what I've done, is really appreciable to the viewer who is viewing this video. It looks very nice that the buttons get disabled. Also, there is a cool glassy blur effect, right? Now, if I click one row, it enables me the edit button. Now, as usual, I can edit only one row at a time. So if I select multiple rows, see the edit button has been disabled, just like magic, right? Now, if I select only one row and click on the edit button, the invoice currency, I can edit to maybe CAD, that is Canadian dollars, and the customer payment terms. You do not need to worry about these things. These are the things that have to be understood by the Highradius team when this project goes live into production. So let me give any value to it, and I would confirm or acknowledge the changes, and I would click on the submit button. Now, as I have clicked on the submit button, it tells me that row number 9, serial number 9 has been edited successfully. Now, I would like to confirm the changes, of course. So, here is the CAD that I have changed. The invoice currency has changed to CAD, that is Canadian dollars. Now, um, I would like to show you the delete functionality. I will go to the very end of it and just delete the row which I had added recently. Now I click on delete and it would ask for one confirmation that do you want to delete the selected rows or not. All right. So once I give the yes confirmation to it and click on now see here one interesting thing. If I type anything now, the button gets disabled. It gets enabled only when I type yes, either in yes this like or yes like this or yes like this. So it is ignoring the case of it but maintaining the value of the word which I am typing. So it gets enabled only at yes. Now if I click on delete, it gets me the row deleted. See, that same row has been deleted successfully, right? So, what are the features that have been already shown to you was add button, edit button, and delete button. And search by customer number, these are usual things. Now, if we copy this customer number and paste on it, it would get me only the customer numbers which are matching with this value, right? Just usual stuff, nothing special about it. All right. Now coming to the advanced search. You can do advanced search by filling all these mandatory fields. Now these are the pre-filled data which are just done to save the time of the user. These are just randomly filled pre-filled data. You can modify this. Like if I modify it here, you can modify this. Just to keep you the presentation simple. I have pre-filled this data. Now if I click on submit, it gets me the row. All right, that feature is broken. Apologies for that. I do not know. I have to fix it. I will check it for it soon. All right. So coming to the next feature is that the predict button. Now predict is a machine learning enabled feature. If I select rows no, then it would submit the selected rows data to a machine learning model in the backend. I have implemented that same using a Flask service. Python has a framework called Flask, which integrates very tightly with AI models and data which comes from the front end. So I took help of Flask and plugged in my machine learning model using XGB Boost regressor model. Right now, if I click on the predict button, it does things very smartly, and it analyzes these dates that when a business has paid their invoices timely or not, and then uh, it gets me the predicted dates, which is called the aging bucket, whether the business would be paying it within 15 days or 15 to 30 days. So if I click on predict button, it does that thing. Let it think, let it do the smart stuff in the backend. Yeah, the predictions are ready. Now see, uh, I would go to this aging bucket column and see that the values are filled. That this business or customer would be paying their dues within 0 to 15 days. This customer would be in 31 to 45 days. This is highly sophisticated stuff in machine learning. I would not like to go into the very deep implementation of it. So skip that part for now. All right. Now the last thing to show you is the analytics part. If I click on analytics button, it gets me these form fields where I can specify a start date and an end date, a clear date and an end date. Similarly, due dates and end dates. And when I click on acknowledge and submit it, it would get me a graphical view of my this data set which I am seeing right now from the backend. It also uses Java servlets to customize the data as per my need, and it returns the value. See, I get this data. I get it in pie format. First of all, it is a comparison of the invoice currencies. So as of now, all of the currencies are in INR, Indian rupees. So it shows that the maximum pie chart has been occupied by INR currency. Nothing special. And now if I click on the bar chart representation, it tells me that what business has the most number of invoices occupied for this period of time, for these period of times which I had filled before, right? So U001 is a very biased data, as we can see that there is a huge rise in the bar chart. So U001 has lot many of invoices, and so this is the number of customers for the green column bar, and total open amount signified by the purple bar chart, right? So this is just the analytical data, and this marks the end of my presentation. Of course, if I close this model or I click outside it, the whole model gets closed. So that's the end of my presentation. I hope you like it. Thank you. My name is Ankur Paul, a wannabe intern at Highradius Corporation Private Limited. This is a fintech company doing smart stuffs every day. Thank you.